Do you ever feel like you've done everything right, but for whatever reason, your business still isn't ranking at that top spot on Google Maps? Local competitors who shouldn't be outranking you are, and every day that goes by, you're losing out on new customers. Well, we're going to change that, because in this video, we're going to talk about the key local SEO factors that are affecting your business and your Google rankings. I'm going to tell you where you should focus most of your time, while also telling you what is a complete waste of time, because most business owners are getting this completely wrong. To make this more fun, we're going to use this sexy tier list, which is going to rank everything from what you should spend most of your time on all the way down to what you shouldn't focus on and should really just throw in the trash. So let's start with the first thing, which is talking directly about backlinks. And most people are getting this wrong. Now, external backlinks have always been popular with businesses to help boost your SEO ranking. However, Google did recently come on record and say they are a lot less powerful than they once were, and they may continue losing power as time goes on. Many business owners just simply don't have time to do this properly, so they go to some collaboration website and purchase or even rent a backlink to help boost their ranking. And actually, this is a violation of Google's policies. Many backlinks are actually harmful for your SEO, and if Google finds out you've bought one to boost your ranking, well, they're actually going to penalize you. But if you are going to go for the backlink strategy, then you must ensure that they are organic and absolutely genuine. Make sure that you're partnering with a website or a business that has a similar interest or at least location to what your business is offering. For example, let's say you're a restaurant, you should partner with another restaurant within your city that offers a slightly different product. That way, Google will match you two together and your backlinks will work more efficiently. Ultimately, this backlink should be relevant to the traffic you want to attract to your business. If you think about it logically, if you're a restaurant in Wisconsin and in the middle of Bombay, India, there's another website recommending your restaurant with nobody ever really visiting you, it doesn't really make much sense to Google's algorithm. If you are still going to go this route of using backlinks, another top tip would be to make sure that all the backlinks you are using with different businesses are all routing to the same page so that that one page gets the most power and helps boost your ranking. So where would backlinks actually rank on our table? Well, it's extremely time consuming, it's hard to get right, and actually it takes Google 3 to 6 months for them to even work correctly, so it's gonna go lovely in the C tier. For me personally, I would just prioritize this last, if at all, when you're trying to boost your Google rankings. But what's next is extremely important, and that is becoming verified, and many businesses are getting this wrong. All you have to do for this is just go from step to step when you're setting up your Google profile and make sure you act on every single point. And especially verifying your location, which still a lot of businesses are not doing correctly, even though it's much more simple than it used to be. A couple of years ago, what you had to do is email Google with your address, they'd then send out something in the post, you'd have to then receive it in the post, put in a unique code, and voila, your business may be verified. Where one of my businesses is currently located in Budapest, the post system is kind of non-existent at times. So it took 3 attempts for this to happen, but Google have realized this, and now all you have to do is take one long formatted video and it works. So verified for that reason goes absolutely in the A tier. It's easy to do, and there is no excuses not to make this happen as soon as possible. But moving on to a big thing, which is reviews. There's 3 parts of this one. You've got quality, you've got quantity, and fake reviews, which are becoming, unfortunately, much more popular on things like Google and TripAdvisor. Now, a business should be pushing out their best product with their best service and trying to actively get as many 5-star reviews across all platforms as they can. And we've got a future video coming out how we got over 1,000 5-star reviews in less than 6 months, which helped push our business to that #1 spot on Google. So this one is going right up in the A tier, and that is for several reasons. One is that Google takes this quite seriously, and getting it right can help boost your rankings both on Google Maps and also your overall SEO of your business. But 2 is something that is extremely important. 90% of customers have at some point checked a review online before purchasing a product. So if you have a decent star rating, it's going to attract a lot more customers and in turn propel your business even higher as more people are clicking on it. So the overall star rating is extremely important, but what about how many reviews you actually have? Of course, 1 million 5-star reviews is better than just 10. Well, actually, the quantity of reviews is slightly less powerful than the overall quality of the review. Don't get me wrong, you should be aiming for the stars, pun intended, to get as many reviews as you can. But the quality is definitely more important than quantity when it comes to Google reviews. This is because Google understands that every business is at a different stage in their journey. So having a quality over quantity just makes sense. But on to the big one. And if you're a business owner, I'm sure you've seen on social media, especially of late, that you can buy fake 5-star reviews for your business. Now, the natural instinct is this is bad for your business. And you're right, but probably wrong on the thinking. According to some studies, around about 30% of all reviews online are either fake or paid for. And in 2023, Google deleted over 170 million reviews that they deemed to be fake. It's estimated that fake reviews alone are costing the US economy $152 billion every single year. And the worst thing is, many businesses are still falling into this trap, buying reviews for their business for as little as $2 per review. But why are they actually so bad? Well, it's not just about being fake. Google's algorithm is extremely intelligent, and if you get a review from a even potentially real person in the middle of India while you're in Wisconsin, then Google's gonna know this person in India's never been to Wisconsin. So it doesn't make sense, and they're gonna struggle to figure out where you're located, so this one goes into the trash. Don't do it, it really harms your business. Okay, so the next one is keywords in the title of your business. Your Google business profile will let you link a website address to your profile. In many cases, this is your homepage, and there's a hack on that coming later in the video to actually give it a little bit more power. But as you can see here, you can use keywords in the meta title of this actual web page, which is gonna boost your ranking in Google itself. This one's actually quite powerful and very easy to do, so you have no excuse, and this one for me goes also into the A tier. Okay, so we're close to our first super hack, but before we get into that, let's finish off some more keywords with something you've probably heard of, H1 and H2, or header 1 and header 2 on the page that is linked to your Google profile. Putting keywords into these titles that are relevant to your business and location are gonna massively help your Google business ranking. Just make sure it makes sense, because if it doesn't, people are not gonna like it, click off your website, and it's gonna have the opposite effect on your ranking. This one for me is going in the B tier. It's not as powerful as the landing page keywords, but it is still worth doing. Which brings us on to our first super hack, which is to do with understanding what is an actual keyword. Now, a lot of people get keywords wrong when it comes to business, and I want to share a simple example. Let's say you're a restaurant in New York City, and you can see right now that the word restaurant, 1.4 million people are searching for that every single month, which is great. There's a lot of traffic, but the problem comes is when you try to rank for this keyword, there's just too much competition, and unless you have a huge team, it's just going to be too hard to rank. In fact, if you look at the competitors for this keyword, you've got things like TripAdvisor, OpenTable, Yelp, TimedOut.com. You're going to have no chance as a business to compete with these people for that keyword restaurant. Instead, what you should do is niche down the keyword you actually want to rank for. Let's say you're a Mexican restaurant in the same city, New York. Let's say your burritos are extremely good and they're your biggest seller. Now, the search for burrito in New York City on Google comes in at around about 11,000 searches every single month. And it's a lot easier to rank for. Yes, it's not 1.4 million searches, but 11,000 customers is still a lot to deal with, and most businesses couldn't cope with that amount of traffic. If you look at the competitors for this keyword too, you're now competing against local competition that also sell burritos, so it's a lot easier for you to compete for that keyword. We can even take this one step further if you're unhappy with the keyword burrito, because there is 66,000 searches for Mexican restaurant near me in New York City every single month too. And in fact, this is even easier to rank for than burrito. The point here is to try and niche down as much as you can, because if you do, you're going to get more customers that you actually want to get in your business. And doing so, it's going to help boost your actual traffic, not only coming into the restaurant or your business, but actually the amount of traffic going to your site, which in turn will help boost your rankings. Niche down your keywords. It's a massive, massive tool. Okay, so now we're warmed up and loose, let's do the next 3 in one go. And that's all to do with location. The first one is the proximity to a city center. Now, Google typically ranks things in relevance to the searcher's location and your business. If you're closer to the searcher, you're going to rank higher. However, if you're planning a trip to Batman in Turkey, which is a real place, then Google will use the central location of that town as a default instead of your location. And before a debate breaks out in the comments, which is the center location of each city, it just comes down to wherever the name is on Google Maps when you zoom out. Google is literally dictating where city centers are these days. So city center proximity, because you can't change your location that easily and it gets much more expensive if you're moving into a capital city, this is going into the C tier. And as does the search location, because we cannot dictate these things, all we can do is really hope. But that leaves one thing, service area. Now, service areas are something, if you're a service-based business, like a plumber, you can actually set the postcodes and the addresses you want to service. So it is worth doing because customers can find out where you service to, but it doesn't actually affect your ranking, not even a little bit, so not going on the list. Okay, so speaking of things that are gonna go in the trash or not even make it to the trash list, geo image or location imagery, code, whatever you want to call it. Back in the days, the good old days, you would be able to edit code on a picture and put a location in it. So you could take a picture of the White House and change the code to say that that picture was took next to the pyramids, and it would actually help your ranking in that area. But it hasn't been a thing for a hell of a long time, so that goes into the bin. And as does social media, and so many businesses are getting this wrong. Yes, having a flex on Facebook or many followers on TikTok is going to get you more customers. But those posts, those likes, those comments, unfortunately, do not help your ranking at all. So knowing what we know now from super hack number 1 with keywords, I want to come back to it a little bit and give you a super powerful tool. And that is having your city name in your headlines, your meta title, and anywhere that it fits logically. But please don't keyword stuff the city name into all your tags. For example, in our burrito example, don't say in the title, New York's best burrito, New York City loves our burrito, and if you visit New York, you must come to New York's best burrito. That doesn't make sense, it's gonna harm your ranking, but if you can organically fit it into the titles and your meta titles, extremely powerful. You should definitely go and do it. Now, the next one is extremely powerful if you get it right, and you have to be safe about how you do it. And that is having keywords in your business's title. In the previous example, we wanted to rank for Mexican restaurant in New York City. And if our Mexican restaurant was called Dave's Kitchen, it's not going to be as powerful if it was titled Dave's Mexican Restaurant. But unfortunately, although this is an extremely powerful rule, Google's policies are quite strict on it. So you can't just change the name of your Google business profile if it doesn't match your actual limited company name. Now, it might be worth actually taking the leap of faith here and changing your business's name to help your ranking on Google, but only in an extreme circumstance. And if you are going to go down that route, then I strongly suggest you sign up to our newsletter down below in the pinned comment, because anyone that uses that link, I'm going to send you a full PDF of how you can even turn this into a third super hack. And I'm never going to talk about it anywhere else. That's the only location you're going to be able to get this super hack. But for now, this is going to go into the A tier, if you can do it correctly. Okay, let's talk about keywords. again, in your Google business profile. Now, what we're talking about here is in the description of your business. So putting Mexican burrito, New York City in the description of your actual Google business profile. Now, this is a tough one because unfortunately, it actually goes down here into the trash pile. And that is because many business owners think it helps, but it doesn't. And especially don't overstuff keywords into your Google business description. If they fit in there organically, great, but Google have said it doesn't actually help your ranking whatsoever. Which brings me on to citations. If you're an OG of Google, you'll know exactly what this is. Now, typically, citations used to hurt businesses more than they used to help them. For example, if our Mexican restaurant was listed on Yelp and Yelp had the wrong address, the wrong phone number, or there was a slight mismatch, like they put ST dot rather than street, and our Google profile said street, it would actually hurt us quite a lot. Now, this does help a tiny bit, but not that much. Just do it where it makes sense. So if you're a restaurant, get yourself on TripAdvisor, get yourself on all the other Yelp.coms or wherever you think you're going to get customers organically, but don't spend too much time on it. So let's talk about something you should have done already, which is categories, and I hope you did it right. This one, straight up, S tier. Extremely important, super easy to do, and you need to do it right. Remember in our earlier example, we had a Mexican restaurant. Google has over 5,000 actual tags you can pick for your business category. You could pick restaurant or you could pick Mexican restaurant. In your primary category, try and put down specifically your primary objective. So if you are a Mexican restaurant, put in Mexican restaurant, not just restaurant. And then in these subcategories, put in things that are only relevant. Do not overreach. If your Mexican restaurant serves cocktails, don't put in cocktail bar. Keep it super simple so Google knows exactly what you sell so they can rank you more simply. Which brings us on to something that surprised me when researching this video. Internal links. Now, we talked about backlinks earlier, which are all the way down there in the C tier. Now, internal links are basically links between different pages in your website, and they're a lot more powerful than you think. Now, this one is actually going to go in B tier. And the reason is because it actually has less power than a backlink, but it's way more easy to do. And all it is you need to link all your pages together and have logical steps. And the reason it's so powerful is if you can get people spending more time on your website, making more clicks, it's gonna let Google trust your business more and help boost your rankings. Internal links are a way underutilized aspect when it comes to Google profile SEO. Get them done, they will massively help. As are service pages, and I wish I did this sooner when I understood how to use them correctly. Now, if you are that Mexican restaurant and you sell 20 different types of burritos, don't have a different web page for every single burrito, but have one or two for your key products. So if you've got one that is, Dave's Burrito and you're very proud of it, make a dedicated service page for that because it's going to be easy to rank that in Google itself because it's so niche down. Then put in your internal links, then stuff it with your keywords and maybe even match it with the mega hack we'll talk about in a future video. One of the strategies we did with our business is actually make a team building service page, and we started to get loads of people booking team buildings because when you Googled team building in X city, we came up because we ranked extremely high. Very underutilized, and you should definitely look at getting dedicated service pages for certain products you actually sell within your business. Now it brings us on to our second super hack, and it's actually turning this service page into a lead getting machine that will generate mass amounts of sales to your business. When we implemented this into one of our businesses, it pushed us to the #1 spot on Google Maps in a city that gets over 5 million tourists every single year. And that is make yourself a service page that actually is dedicated to a search term that customers are searching for. For example, in our Dave's Kitchen or Mexican restaurant in New York City, I would make a page that says authentic Mexican restaurant in the heart of New York City. I would then flood that page with 5-star reviews and positive customer feedback. So every second thing you scroll down on that page is a 5-star review of something that is gonna help sell your business. I would then do something that most business owners wouldn't even think of. I would change the link on my Google business profile to that dedicated service page, which is focused on getting new customers. Because what will happen is customers click on it, they see the reviews, and they're going to want to find out more, which means now you're going to get 2 clicks from every customer rather than 1. Not just that, it's going to niche down your business massively, and it's going to help you get the right type of customers. I gave you the example earlier of a restaurant with 1.4 million people searching for it in New York City. Realistically, no restaurant can take that amount of volume. Niche it down and get the right clientele coming back to your business. So this super hack is going to go right here, but if you pair this with a super hack that'll get you more customers than a gym in January, then make sure you watch this video here, because I talk about a way you can drive way more traffic and even boost your rankings on Google further.